Hey guys, what's up? Some people have asked me if they should buy as well this new game that I've been playing over the last week, the new Assymetrical multiplayer game, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've been playing this game a lot, both as the killers and the victims. So I wanted to, before answering the question, because a lot of people asked me while I was like playing the game, oh, do you think it's worth buying? How does it compare? Is it better than Predator Grounds? Is it better than Dead by Daylight? I wanted to give like some more time to get like over 50 hours of playtime until I could like make a fair judgment on how this game is. And I have to say it's pretty fun. I think it's pretty good. Even comparing to other ones that are like only its own, it's already pretty good. I'm having fun with this game quite a lot. I have never been a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I think I only watched the first one that I watched was the remake, like the first remake, not the second one. I watched the remake, the prequel to the remake, then the one that was like the very first one, the original one. Didn't see the other sequels of the original timeline. Then I watched, I think, the last remake, maybe. I think that was it. And so I was never such a big fan. Leatherface was interesting, but I was never as much of a fan of it. I didn't thought he was as cool as like Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th or Michael Myers from Halloween, which are my favorite killers from like the slasher, like from slasher movies. Those are my favorites. Like I got Dead by Daylight just because I wanted to play as Michael Myers. It's the only game where I can play as Michael Myers, so I got it pretty much because of that. And I ended up getting more into Dead by Daylight because of that, and trying out the other killers and all. And for a while, like, since we're mentioning asymmetrical multiplayer games and like horror icons, slasher killers. Also, I played Friday for a long time. If you guys look into my channel, just search for Friday. You guys are gonna see before Predator Hunting Grounds, I was like playing non-stop Friday. Like that was like the big game for my channel for a little bit. Like before Predator Hunting Grounds, I think was like 2018, 2019, something like that. I played Friday a lot. Like I would play it like until like it was eventually abandoned by the company. It was Iconic, Iconic, the same company that fucked it up Predator Hunting Grounds. So the good thing about this game is not made by Iphonic, so that's something. Like it's not might not suffer the same problems that we experienced in Friday Predator, which is the game ended up like being abandoned by the developers. I mean, it might happen. I mean, it's just the game just came out. Like, and we don't know like if it's like 2 years from now, there's still gonna be a lot of people playing this game, or this support's gonna be like good, or they're gonna be making more DLCs. But so far, like the first impression, it's good. Like I only got to play Predator Hunting Grounds in like the first like at the release. So in comparison to that game, I would say that the balance. I mean, in regards to the balance, I think the quality overall of both games is like was okay. I mean back then like Predator Hunting Grounds didn't have that many bugs and exploits, and maybe just because back then people didn't dig enough. And so like people back when it came out, like from what I remember, even I have like still videos in the channel showcasing like the how the game was in 2020 when it came out. But it was like okay. It was like just a fun little game. Like there's like only three maps, just like in this game. This game still feels like it can uh has a lot of potential. Like I feel like whatever this game is gonna be a true success, it's just about how the developers are gonna be putting effort in to adding more content, adding more maps, adding maybe like another game mode, like more killers, more survivors, just add more stuff. I think that as of now the game is pretty good. Same way that when Predator Hunting Grounds came out, I was like, damn, this game is fun. I'm having fun. I think it's okay. But there's so much stuff that they can improve to make it even better. It's more similar to Friday. Like if I'm gonna compare this to other asymmetrical multiplayer games, like it's gonna be Friday, Dead by Daylight, and Predator Hunting Grounds, which are the ones that I played. I didn't play any other asymmetrical multiplayers. My experience has been limited to those ones. I think it is the most similar to Friday, especially by the way that the characters move, the perk system. It reminds me a lot of the perk, the abilities, the different stats from the characters, and also it reminds me of that one has like the most Friday. And I think that playing as Jason is better than playing as Leatherface or any other of those killers. There is just like not much comparison. Leatherface for me is the most fun one. Like it's the most cool looking. Like it's the most unique. It's the most unique. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like it's about the guy with the chainsaw killing people. So for sure, like Leatherface is like my favorite, and Leatherface is like the main thing in this game. So like, but the other killers are actually kind of fun. At first, like everybody only wanted to play as Leatherface, but now that some of us managed to max out Leatherface, we kind of like want to try to go for the other killers and just try them out as well. So good thing that it has multiple killers. They are very different from each other. It's not like him in let's compare to Friday. Jason like has different Jasons have different designs, they have different abilities, they have different like powers that are stronger one at the other, but they are not like as unique as these killers are to in a comparison to each other. Sure, Jason is more fun to play in my opinion. I'm a bigger Jason Voorhees fan that I am of Letterface. So Jason was very fun for me. So I'm playing as Jason. You feel like it's just like the atmosphere, the whole thing about Crystal Lake, the maps. Like overall, like I would say like Friday attracted me more, and I had more fun playing Friday just because I'm a bigger fan of that franchise. But I think that the fact that you have multiple killers and you can have killer co-op, which is something unique in this game, that's already makes it worth it for me. Like, if you should you buy this game, if you're a fan of asymmetrical multiplayer games, give it a try just because I think this is the first one where it's gonna be 3v4. We never had something like that. Usually it's always 1v4. I think with Friday was 1v7. It's like one guy, one player is gonna beat the monster, the killer, to wherever, and he's gonna have to fight against multiple other players. Usually goes like that. But in this one, we have something new. We have 3 killers against 4 survivors, so the game is balanced a little different. So like it's just like the survivors are like more toe in toe with the killers in certain situations. Like in Friday, like the Jason was much more powerful in a 1v1. Like unless like I think Vanessa was the survivor that could like always loop Jason like easily, but like Jason was strong enough that he could like kill a lot of survivors instantly. You just like you spot someone and instantly kill them. Like Jason was like powerful enough to be able to handle 7 survivors at the end of the game, because at start, usually at the start of these games, they tend to be survivor sided. Like I think the worst example is the Predator Hunting Grounds, where the fighting that the Predator fights against is just absurdly overpowered, and that was never fixed. While in other games like Dead by Daylight, Friday, they managed to nerf a lot of the humans, like the survivors, and they end up like buffing Jason and the killers in certain occasions. While with Predator Hunting Grounds, like the buffs and nerfs that we needed to fix the balance never came. So I would say, like, if I'm gonna compare these 4 games, worst one in regards to balance, Predator Hunting Grounds, worst one in regards to bugs, probably as well. Exploits, I remember like some really annoying exploits in Friday as well. So I would say, I mean, it's just iconic. Iconic, just terrible. So I would say, like, in regards to developers, like, listen to the community. Dead by Daylight might be the best one. Let's see how these guys. I mean, the game just came out. I don't know much about the company that made this game. I don't know how good of a job they might do or not. But again, comparing to Friday, like, I think it's the most similar one to Friday, gameplay wise, to the gameplay of the victims, gameplay of the killers. Like, it's the most similar, but in this game it's 3v4 instead of 1v7, and I think it has potential. I just hope they add more stuff, and that's a big thing. As far as like how much if it's fun, like, I think the killing has Jason, killing has Letterface. It can be just as fun. The executions, the gameplay, they're both fun. Same thing with the way that the survivors have like different objectives, different ways to escape and win the match. That's important. Like, they add some kind of variety, which is something that Dead by Daylight doesn't have. Dead by Daylight, I think that out of these games that I mentioned, for the human side, the survivor side is the most boring, because all the survivors do is just fix generators. Like, they only have one objective, it's always the same, and for me, it gets boring fast. And of course, you can try to just bully the killer, just be one of those bully squads with flashlights and a bunch of overpowered perks, and just bully the killer to death. Some people just play more because of that than to fix generators. But that's the thing. In regards to the killer gameplay, this one is third person, while Dead by Daylight is the only one of this that I mentioned that is like in first person. And I think that overall, it's just being more fun for me because I can play with my friends. In Dead by Daylight, I have to play alone. And like, the killers are fun, like they are unique, just like the killers in this game are unique. They can be very unique. There are many different types of killers in Dead by Daylight, many different kind of play styles that you can have. Like, the differences are great. Like, they add a lot of variety to the gameplay, so that's great. The problem is that, like, it just, for me, it's just not as fun, just because of the aspect that I can play with friends, I can play co-op. There is the fun aspect of playing with others, just having fun with friends. And when I play killer, like, I cannot do that, you know. And the killers, I don't know, I just feel like, and the balance is kind of off. Like, in J, when I play Friday, most matches I would win. Like, not much trouble has Jason, because I think that, like, when you're playing Jason well, you can win. I think the game was overall more balanced. Especially at the end, where they made like the ability of the rage for Jason to happen faster. Like, that kind of helped the game a lot. While with Dead by Daylight, the game was very survivor-sided at the start. It got better. It's still survivor-sided, but it's just not as bad, because like, when the game came out, it was just like the survivors are just insanely overpowered. Right now it's a little bit better, but like, maybe it's because I'm not that good of a killer. So sometimes I just get frustrated with pre-made survivors. Sometimes I think it's just too hard, too unfair against the killer. So sometimes I don't have as much fun, you know. So for me, the killer experience in this game is just having more fun, because I can rely on my teammates, I can rely on my friends during the matches. In comparison to Predator Hunting Grounds, like, fighting to victim gameplay is just very different. Like, one is like you just You know, like in Friday, like you just you're like this guy that cannot fight back. You cannot kill the killers. You cannot do anything like that. You just like not possible. You just have to do objectives and hide. While in Predator Hunting Grounds, like the Friday things are just OP as fuck. They're just completely overpowered in regards to damage and abilities. And they, like even one Friday thing, as you guys saw, can easily kill the Predator alone. So you don't even need your teammates. In this game, you usually need your teammates because there are 3 killers. Like if you 3 people die, one guy probably not gonna be able to survive for very long, you know. So there is that. Like in Pride Hunting Grounds, the balance is the worst one in regards to balance. Like Pride thing is just completely overpowered, and the gameplay is completely different. Like one is a first-person shooter, in this game, like it's just like over the shoulder, like whatever, I don't know how to describe. It's like uh third person, like the gameplay or whatever, but it's just like a completely different experience. Let me put some Survivor gameplay just so you can see. And Survivor, like I think that the game is a little bit like, at least in the, unless it's Family House, but in the other 2 maps I would say is like more victim sided. I would say like victims have a little bit of an advantage in this game, but not as much. I usually be maining Connie right now, and Connie is like the field medic of this game. She can be just so powerful. Like she can be so, as long as you don't get spotted. If you just is sneaky and you can just hide, you know, she is very powerful and just be able to escape fast. You can escape so fast with Connie. It's just stupid. Like you just imagine if you could like just have a character in. I mean, there are like some term builds in Dead by Daylight, but especially back then, but many of them were nerfed. If you could just like speed it up and just make generators extremely fast and just escape the gate, whatever. Or I think it was like back then in Dead by Daylight, where you could like keep bringing the key and you just open the hatch and it just everybody escapes, and it's cool. Killer just loses like that. It's just that simple. But it's just like she's very powerful, but you have to be sneaky because Leatherface can easily pretty much like one shot her. But I think that in like comparing to Predator Hunting Grounds again, like it just is more challenging. Fighting is just like so OP in Predator Hunting Grounds that there is not much comparison. In this game, you actually have to put more of a brain. You need to put more of a brain. Like you need to be, even with Connie, even though she's OP to opening doors fast and just escaping fast, you still have to be sneaky. You still need to coordinate. You still need to pay attention to your surroundings so the killers don't see you, because you can die very fast. She's like a glass cannon, you know. While in Predator Hunting Grounds, like even if you make a ton of mistakes, you can just bring like multiple supports, field medic, and you just like you save the day, because even if someone gets down, you just get instant revive. So like there's no comparison. Like this game, it actually takes more brain to work. Well, if fighting gameplay, like the fighting damage is really stupid high, so usually it's very easy to out damage the Predator. Even if your aim is shit, you can just like bring very tanky classes, damage resistance, and just like be able to survive the Predator's encounter just by using overpowered stuff. Like it's just that simple with Dante class, support class. Here you guys saw I open a door instantly. I'm just gonna fix the car, open other door instantly, very fast, and boom, I can just escape and I win. And I think the winning condition in this game is just one escape. Like you just get one escape and that's it. It's not like in Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, it's at least you need to get at least 2 escapes to be considered like a win, and sometimes people consider it even a draw. But one escape in Dead by Daylight is not considered a win, so there's that. Here I think there was another player. I think I'm gonna be opening this, and the other player is just gonna kick it for me. So like it's even faster like this. Like I can just open everything while the other player is just doing another objective. See, killers are like busy with someone else. Even though there's 3 killers, they cannot be like at all times. Sometimes they make mistakes, and then it's just very easy to escape. Like sometimes they can, like the killers can be very easy to win. Sometimes you just get lucky. But I think that like it's easier for survivors in some of the maps, like pretty much like Slaughterhouse, Gas Station. They seem, because they are bigger, because they are harder for the killers to control the objectives, they tend to be like a little bit harder, you know, for the killers to deal with and win. But survivors can win very fast in some. So like these matches here are like 2-3 minute matches. If you just get lucky with the position where you are, you can just escape fast. But again, to Predator Hunting Grounds, like comparing like let's say retro gameplay to killer gameplay. Predator gameplay in Hunting Grounds, despite all the problems with the balance, I think it's just so much fun. I'm a big Predator fan, so I think it's just great. The gameplay, the abilities, the weapons, it's just like, I mean, it's just like an alien hunter, an alien creature with like made up weapons, advanced technology. You're comparing here to guys that are just mostly running with knives, killers, just humans. So like Predator gameplay in Hunting Grounds is sure more unique. The weapons are more unique. Everything is more unique and more cool, I guess. But the class of the Predators, they don't really play much more unique. They play pretty much like the same way. There are differences in stats, sure, like HP, stamina, movement speed, energy, whatever. You can make different builds with perks, but usually they play out the same way. So there's not much variety to the gameplay. while comparing one class to the other. You know, all classes can play pretty much the same way. You can make the same build, same playstyle with any of the classes. Well, in this game, the killers play different. The Letterface is more about killing and chasing. The Hitchhiker is more about trapping, controlling certain areas. Same thing with the Cook, but the Cook does that with the locks. Johnny is more about hunting, like Letterface, but he's like he can move better. Like Letterface is good for damage, but he's more limited in his movement. Cece is good for chasing, but she's weaker, but she can go through all the gaps just like the survivors. So there is more variety. So is the game more fun than Predator Grounds? It's hard to say. Like, to be honest, I like both. I cannot like choose only one game to play. I would say that I'm definitely like having more fun with this game right now than Dead by Daylight. Like the survivors are, you have to be more careful around the killers. You can die easier. Like looping is not as easy as in Dead by Daylight. The killers are having fun because it's co-op. In comparison to Dead by Daylight, sure, Dead by Daylight, I would say this game is definitely better than Dead by Daylight. In regards to Friday and Predator, maybe it's because I'm busy, because like I'm a big fan of Friday, Jason, of the Predator. So for me, maybe it's my bias saying, but it's hard for me to say, oh, this game is definitely better than Predator Grounds. I would say, I mean, for me, I suppose, yeah, the game is better if you're gonna compare like a technical standpoint. Like you're talking about like comparing like the quality of the game when you compare like to a gameplay or like the quality of the bugs, like balance. Sure, I think that the game is overall better made than Predator Hunting Grounds. Predator Hunting Grounds is a mess in regards to balance. It's just like a big mess, and they never fixed it. So it's a big problem for sure. Friday, I would say it was can be just as fun. It's just like the most similar to it. It's hard to compare to Predator Hunting Grounds because Predator Hunting Grounds is like a shooter, and this game is like completely different kind of play style. It's like 1v4, 3v4, and it's just like the Predator Hunting Grounds is like the most different to compare this game to. But I know it's my like the game that I've been playing mainly on my channel over the last years. Most of you guys watch my me play Predator Hunting Grounds. But I would say like if you guys want to try a new asymmetrical multiplayer game, I would give it a shot to this one. Like Friday is gone, it's abandoned. Nobody like is not much playing that game. Dead by Daylight, I know is not for everyone. I would recommend this game. Like if you're someone that is into asymmetrical multiplayer games, if you're someone that been playing Predator Hunting Grounds, you're just done with the game. You're done with because of the balance issues. You're done like you're just tired of all the bugs, the exploits, the shit balance. I would give this game a try. Definitely, I recommend. Like I think this game is like as far as asymmetrical multiplayer games go, as far as how good they are. Oh, look here. This is a good part. I have this perk that allows me to disable traps instantly. In Heroes at level 1, I can do it even faster at level 3. It's just so strong with Connie. She puts this, and she can like instantly unlock doors with the toolkits, and she can instantly disable traps with this perk. And so like she doesn't even need to carry like this item that allows you to disable the traps as usual. Most characters have to. So I can just put everything and just carry a bunch of tools so I can just open all doors super fast and just escape. They might nerf this. I don't know how the game is gonna change from now on, because I mean, if you guys, for those of you that played Predator Hunting Grounds at launch and see, or like you guys can just watch the gameplay in my channel, the game changes so much. Predator Hunting Grounds in 2020 is not the Predator Hunting Grounds right now. It's insane, especially in regards to the balance. There's more content, there's more maps, there are more weapons, there are more classes, there is more content. So you would assume that, oh, that made the game better. No, because the balance got worse. Specializations ruined the game. Main decisions in regards to Predator HP, they just made the balance worse. They just made the fighting much more strong than the Predator over the years, over the months, over the updates. They just completely ruined the game balance-wise, for sure. Dead by Daylight, it was actually the opposite. The game at launch was very survival-sided, and it tended to be more balanced and more. The things got better through time in regards to Dead by Daylight. More maps, more killers, more content, and better balance. While in Predator Hunting Grounds, it was like more content in good direction, which was not even like that much good of a content anyway. Like they could have had this so much better stuff than like Clash mode or just more Predator classes DLCs. But well, that's just for another discussion. But I just saying, the game right now is one thing. Maybe for like next months they might change a lot of stuff. There are a lot of people complaining about Connie just being able to escape so fast. There are a lot of people complaining about the killers' abilities, like the damage is too high. It's hard for you to escape killers. They can kill you very fast. There might be a lot of changes to the balance. We're gonna have to wait and see. But right now, as the game is, I recommend it. Like if you're someone that is into asymmetrical multiplayer games, I recommend it for sure. If you're someone that maybe didn't got much into Dead by Daylight, or if you are, especially if you're into Friday, if you are someone that played Friday, you were into that game, I recommend it for sure because it's very similar. It's most similar. If you are someone that tried Dead by Daylight but didn't got much into it, maybe you get into this one. If you're someone that played Predator Hunting Grounds and you like want to try something else, I recommend it. But the gameplay is very different from Predator Hunting Grounds. It's completely different. The dynamic with the killers, or the dynamic with the survivors, it's just completely different. So I think that it's gonna be harder for Predator Hunting Grounds players to get into something like this for sure. Like but I would still like tell, just give it a try. I think it's a good game. I think it can be a fun game, especially with other people. But I think that if you are someone like in Predator Hunting Grounds that like you only play fighting, you only use overpowered stuff to be able to kill the Predator easy, yeah, you're not gonna have fun with this game because you are not gonna be able to solo killers like unless like you're Leland. Leland can like stun the killers for a while, but it's not like in Predator Hunting Grounds. Like this game is more balanced. Like if you're someone that just like to play fighting on Hunting Grounds, you just like use overpowered stuff, like unbalanced stuff to win easily against the Predator. Like you're not gonna have fun with this game. No, but I definitely recommend it for like anybody else. Like it's for sure. Like I think this game has a lot of potential and I hope they don't screw it up. Like Friday was screwed up, they fucked it up. Predator as well. That Badality is still going, but like I said, that Badality is just very different in this game. This game has a lot of potential, and I really hope that the developers make a good job at investing their time and money and effort like into making this game even better.